For many NBA players, they went from having absolutely nothing to having absolutely everything. Many of them grew up in poverty or just lower income families. So when they finally have all the money they dreamt about at their expense, things can take a turn for the worst. Whether it be gambling, bad investments, or just a simple fact that they don't know how to manage their money, some players tend to get themselves in situations financially that they can't come back from. So welcome to NBA Zone, and in today's video, we're going to be going over 10 NBA players who went broke. At number 10, we have Rick Mahorn. Over his career, Rick Mahorn made a total of $7.6 million. Rick Mahorn did a lot for Detroit, assisting with the NBA title as part of the Bad Boy Pistons in 1990, becoming a broadcaster post-retirement for the team, and even investing in the city's estate. If only he was done a lot by the town. These investments came up side by side with the economy of Detroit, leaving him in dire economic straits and forcing him to sell his championship ring while filing for bankruptcy in 2010. He even owed $55 worth of late fees to a local library. Mahorn had to fall back on his basketball understanding after hitting rock bottom to save himself. Ultimately, he was able to land a job at the WNBA, becoming a head coach. He has lately come across a position in Detroit's radio and television. He is presently a Detroit Pistons radio commentator and working on SiriusXM NBA radio as a co-host/analyst. At number 9, we have Kenny Anderson. Over his career, Kenny Anderson earned a total of $63.4 million. Credit Kenny Anderson, a $60 million earner over a 14-year NBA career, because he was conscious of his budget. He earned a mere $10,000 a month, allocated as quote, hanging out cash. That budgeting did not make it simple to juggle the cost of 8 vehicles, a mansion in Beverly Hills, and child support payments for his 7 kids. His finances also struck Tammy Ronan, his wife at the time, after his divorce, who celebrated her court-awarded money by purchasing a vehicle with a vanity license plate reading, "His Cash." Anderson, having experienced his economic hardship, has somehow managed to emerge from the other end that is still intact. He's not wealthy or rich at all, but he's got a house. He has been seen a lot as of late in public as well. His presence around NBA circles was due to promoting a documentary he features in, the movie called Mr. Chibbs, which chronicles Anderson's life's up and downs. At number 8, we have Jason Caffey. Over his career, Jason Caffey totaled a career earnings of $34 million. A career NBA role player, best known for his time with Michael Jordan's Bulls in the mid-1990s. Jason Caffey lost his $34 million career income by a distinct kind of surplus than many on our list. Caffey has fathered 10 kids by 8 separate mothers, in addition to private problems, including an anxiety attack and an assault charge while he was still playing. In 2008, this deadbeat father attempted to file for bankruptcy, but a judge dismissed the statement. Caffey was detained in 2007 for failing to create payments for child support. In 2010, he was appointed the head coach of Mobile Bay Hurricanes of the American Basketball Association. These days, he is still struggling to make ends meet and is still egregiously behind on his child support payments. He is working where he can, but it appears prospects are slim for the ill-tempered ex-ball player. At number 7, we have Eddy Curry. Over his career, Eddy Curry earned a total of $70 million. As he was drafted 4th overall by the Chicago Bulls in 2001, and the future seems so bright for the high school star Eddy Curry. Although there is nothing to scoff at about $70 million in career earnings, it hasn't helped him in the years since to prevent economic ruin. Curry allegedly had significant economic obligations to a number of extended family members and bought 12 vehicles for different friends and family. There were also a series of not so smart fast fix efforts, such as significant All-Star Capital personal loan that came with a whopping 85% interest rate. Yet another reason the NBA should require its youth to take financial planning and money management courses. Curry is being relegated to celebrity basketball leagues these days and offering speeches as successful young athletes to talented amateur athletes about the future potholes on the road. He highlighted the significance of attending college and enjoying the growing up process during his speeches. He was lately cited saying, quote, "My only regret was not attending college and participating in the rites of passage, like living in a dorm or experiencing the growth of maturity that many NBA players receive as college athletes." At number 6, we have Latrell Sprewell. Over his career, Latrell Sprewell earned a total of $97 million. Latrell Sprewell was a 3-time All-Star in the NBA, but he will be best remembered for his infamously choking PJ Carlesimo, then head coach of the Golden State Warriors. Also for explaining his refusal of a 3-year, $21 million contract offer by stating, "I have a family to feed." That quote rings a little more true now, as unsuccessful payments have led to foreclosures on $2 million houses that he owned and forced him to auction off his prized luxury yacht. Even after making almost $100 million, he rapidly caught up with his extravagant lifestyle after retirement. Spree is now stooped to doing anything he can for a little money. He was rumored last season to have been paid off by the owner of the Knicks, James Dolan, simply for showing up to a game with James and pretending to be his friend. It's no secret that Latrell has an authority problem, but Spree appears to have no issue disregarding his own self-respect for the correct price. At number 5, we have Antoine Walker. Over his career, Antoine Walker earned a total of $108 million. $110 million is a lot of cash, but in relation to a very costly car hobby, it can run amazingly thin when used to finance 70 family and friends. Antoine Walker had a vehicle collection that included 2 Bentleys, 2 Mercedes, a Range Rover, a Cadillac Escalade, a Hummer, and his precious Maybach, while also financially supporting an entourage of 70 other people. Gambling losses of nearly $700,000 also created problems for Walker, who hit rock bottom with an arrest in Las Vegas in 2009 for writing fraudulent checks to casinos while being pursued by numerous creditors. These days, Antoine can be spotted in various documentaries and short films about the fall from financial grace. He starred in the ESPN 30 for 30 Broke, as well as a Netflix documentary. As the poster child for cash mismanagement, Walker actually assisted himself to get a spot where there might be a light at the end of the tunnel. But it will always be interesting to see how he finishes his tale with an addictive personality and temptation around. At number 4, we have Scottie Pippen. Over his career, Scottie Pippen earned a total of $109 million. Maybe the greatest Robin in sports history, Scottie Pippen's Chicago Bulls legend doesn't bring the issues of attitude, the legal past, or private struggles of some of the other entries on this list. That being said, when it comes to financial choices, he was not all that bright. First off, once he purchased a $4 million jet that wasn't even working. He then, in an effort to solve it, not so wisely invested another $1 million in the jet. It ended up just being a display piece that cost $5 million. He also lost huge quantities of his real estate and business investment income. However, Pippen was fortunate enough to get back on his feet and bounce back from the life-ruining scenario in which he was headed towards. He was stable and even financially flourishing until recently, but he and his wife fought in court over their property in latest months as they finalized their divorce. It was rumored that Pippen had removed his wife from his bank account and left her without access to any of their cash for all intents and purposes. At number 3, we have Dennis Rodman. Over his career, Dennis Rodman earned a total of $26.9 million. It's time for pride to go out the window when you make nearly $27 million over your playing career and find yourself struggling to pay bills shortly afterwards. That's why court papers submitted by the eccentric Dennis Rodman's attorney in 2014 recognized that the Worm was severely sick and broke, making it difficult for him to meet his child support obligations. At the moment, Rodman owed $808,935 in child support, while reportedly struggling to manage his own living costs. Rodman may now live in an even more crazy world than he did back in the wild 1990s. Rodman endorsed Donald Trump as president in July 2015. Also, surprisingly enough, Dennis has an apparently very excellent relationship with the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Rodman is frequently visiting North Korea to visit his friend. At number 2, we have Vin Baker. Over his career, Vin Baker earned a total of $97.3 million. Since his 13-year NBA career came to an end in 2006, retirement has not been precisely blissful for Vin Baker. Baker sued financial firm Brodeur & Company after losing most of his $97 million income through a series of bad investments and tax woes that compelled him to pay more than $1 million in back taxes. Although Baker may have misplaced his economic confidence, it was likely not helped by a reckless lifestyle that included alcohol abuse issues and a 2007 DUI arrest. Baker crawled back to his feet after battling through the hard times of the early 2000s. He was a Starbucks store manager in Old Saybrook, Connecticut in 2015. He lately landed a job as a basketball analyst with Fox Sports. Now finally, at our number 1 spot, we have Allen Iverson. Over his career, Allen Iverson earned a total of $154 million. Allen Iverson always had a flair for the dramatic as a former NBA scoring champ and league MVP. LeBron James called him the greatest pound-for-pound player to ever play, but he had his problems off the court. During his 2012 divorce proceedings, a man who earned well over $150 million in his life was reduced to standing in a courtroom and pulling his pockets out, exclaiming that he did not have enough cash for even a cheeseburger. Iverson's descent went almost everywhere imaginable, with a 50-person entourage, serious gambling addiction, legal charges, alcohol disorder, and a thirst for excitement, draining his income of $160 million. Iverson claims he's not broke anymore, and he's got back a lot of his finances. And his deal with Reebok Shoe Company has a $30 million Iverson trust fund he can get his hands on once he turns 55. So that's going to do it for today's video. What do you guys think about these players and their inability to maintain their funds? Let us know down in the comment section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, then drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.